got some serious business to discuss today. We need to talk about Europe's car industry, and it's not pretty. The landscape is changing, and not for the better. Volkswagen, the maker of the iconic Golf and the Beetle, is in a spot of bother. This isn't just a minor hiccup, it's a significant issue. Their stock price has taken a tumble, down a whopping 10%. That's a massive hit for any company, let alone a giant like Volkswagen. Now, I know what you're thinking. So what? The stock market goes up and down. But this isn't your typical market fluctuation. This is serious. Analysts are worried, and for good reason. You see, Volkswagen has been building cars for 87 years. They've weathered many storms, but this one is different. They're a giant, a titan of German engineering. Their reputation for quality and reliability is legendary. But even titans can fall. History has shown us that no one is invincible. And the reason for their stumble? China. The rise of Chinese car manufacturers is shaking up the global market. Yep, the Middle Kingdom is shaking things up in the car world. And not everyone is happy about it. Chinese brands are becoming more competitive. This isn't just bad news for Volkswagen. The ripple effects are being felt across the industry. It's bad news for the whole European car industry. The Germans, the French, the Italians, they all rely on car manufacturing. It's a cornerstone of their economies. It's a massive part of their economies. The automotive sector isn't just about cars, it's about economic stability. And if Volkswagen is struggling, well, you can bet your bottom dollar that others are feeling the heat too. The entire supply chain is affected. This is about more than just fancy German cars. It's about the very fabric of European industry. This is about jobs, about livelihoods. Thousands of families depend on this industry. It's about the future of one of Europe's most important industries. The stakes couldn't be higher. And right now, things aren't looking too rosy. The road ahead is uncertain, and the industry must adapt or face dire consequences. Now, I'm not an economist, I'm a car bloke. I spend my days around engines and wheels, not economic charts and graphs. But even I can see that this car crisis is bad news for the European economy. It's like a dark cloud hanging over the continent, affecting everything in its path. The car industry is a massive employer in Europe. It's not just about the cars themselves, but the entire ecosystem that supports it. Millions of jobs depend on it, from factory workers to salespeople to mechanics. These are real people with families to support and bills to pay. And it's not just the jobs themselves. The ripple effect of this crisis is far-reaching. The car industry also supports a whole network of other businesses. Think about the logistics companies, the parts suppliers, and the service providers. Think about the steel mills that make the car bodies, the tire factories, the component suppliers. They all play a crucial role in this vast industry. They all rely on a healthy car industry to survive. When the car industry sneezes, the whole European economy catches a cold. And right now, it's got a full-blown case of the flu. The symptoms are everywhere, and they're getting worse. And right now, it's got a full-blown case of the flu. Factories are closing, and the economic downturn is evident in every corner of Europe. The European Union's GDP, which is a measure of how much the economy is producing, is taking a hit. This isn't just a minor dip, it's a significant decline. And unemployment is on the rise, particularly in regions heavily reliant on car manufacturing. People are losing their livelihoods, and it's a tough situation. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about the human cost, the stress and anxiety that families are facing. This is about real people, real families who are struggling to make ends meet. It's about the social fabric of Europe, which is being strained by this crisis. It's about the social fabric of Europe, which is being strained by this crisis. Communities are feeling the pressure, and it's a challenging time for everyone. We're talking about a domino effect. One problem leads to another, and the chain reaction is hard to stop once it starts. And the first domino has already fallen. The question now is, how do we stop the rest from toppling over? So, what's the root of all this trouble? Well, it's partly down to the rise of electric vehicles, or EVs as the kids call them. Now, I'm not against electric cars. Some of them are quite nippy actually. But the problem is, China has completely stolen a march on Europe when it comes to EVs. They've been investing heavily in EV technology for years. They've got huge factories churning out electric cars and batteries at an alarming rate. And guess what? People are buying them. In fact, China is now the world's largest market for electric vehicles. They're selling more EVs than the rest of the world combined. But it's not just about the cars themselves. China also controls a massive chunk of the EV supply chain. They've got a stranglehold on the production of lithium-ion batteries, which are essential for EVs. And they're sitting on huge reserves of rare earth minerals, which are also used in EV production. So, while Europe has been dragging its feet on electric vehicles, China has been quietly building an electric empire. They've become the dominant force in the global EV market, and now they're coming for Europe's lunch. Here's the thing about the Chinese. They know how to make things cheaply. And I'm not talking about cheap and nasty either. I'm talking about good quality products at rock-bottom prices. And that's a problem for European car makers. See, European cars have always been known for their quality, their craftsmanship, their engineering excellence. But all that comes at a price. European cars are expensive to build, which means they're expensive to buy. And that's fine if you're selling to people with deep pockets. But what about everyone else? Enter the Chinese. They're now building electric cars that are not only cheaper than their European counterparts, but also pretty darn good. They're packed with technology, they're stylish, and they're reliable. And because they're cheaper to produce, they can be sold at much lower prices. This is putting immense pressure on European car makers. They're being squeezed from both sides. On the one hand, they're facing increasing competition from Chinese EV makers. On the other hand, they're struggling to keep up with the pace of technological change in the EV market. It's a tough spot to be in, lads. So, what's the solution for Europe's car makers? Well, one option is to do what they've always done: innovate. They need to up their game when it comes to electric vehicles. They need to develop new technologies, new designs, new business models. They need to give people a reason to choose a European EV over a Chinese one. But innovation takes time, and it takes money. And right now, European car makers are running out of both. So, what's the other option? Collaboration. That's right, working with the enemy. It might sound counterintuitive, but there's a growing trend of collaboration between European and Chinese car makers. They're forming joint ventures, sharing technology, and even co-developing new models. And why not? The Chinese have the expertise in EV production and the supply chain, while the Europeans have the brand recognition and the engineering know-how. It's a win-win situation, or at least, it could be. Of course, there are risks involved. European car makers need to be careful not to give away too much intellectual property. But if they can get the balance right, collaboration could be the key to their survival. Alright, let's talk strategy. The automotive landscape is shifting rapidly, and European car makers are at a critical juncture. If European car manufacturers want to survive this Chinese electric onslaught, they need a game plan. A robust, forward-thinking strategy that can withstand the pressures of a highly competitive market. And it better be good. The stakes have never been higher, and the competition is fierce. Sitting around reminiscing about the glory days of diesel engines won't cut it. The world has moved on, and so must they. First things first, embrace the electric revolution. This isn't just a trend, it's the future of the automotive industry. I know, some of you lot are clinging to your petrol-powered chariots. The roar of a petrol engine is hard to let go of, but the future is electric, whether you like it or not. The shift towards electric vehicles is inevitable, driven by environmental concerns and regulatory pressures. European car makers need to go all in on EVs and develop models that are not just good, but bloody brilliant. They need to innovate and push the boundaries of what's possible. Second, they need to play to their strengths. Europe has a long and storied history of automotive excellence. This heritage is a powerful asset. They're known for building high-quality, high-performance cars that people love to drive. This reputation can be leveraged in the electric vehicle market. They need to bring that same level of passion and expertise to their EV offerings. The craftsmanship and attention to detail that European cars are known for should be evident in their electric models. Third, they need to get their act together on battery production. Batteries are the heart of electric vehicles, and having a reliable supply is crucial. Right now, they are lagging behind the Chinese. This is a significant vulnerability. They need to invest heavily in building their battery manufacturing capacity to reduce their reliance on Chinese suppliers. This will not only ensure a steady supply, but also drive down costs. And finally, they need to be prepared to adapt. The automotive industry is changing faster than ever before. New technologies are emerging all the time. From autonomous driving to advanced connectivity, the future is full of possibilities. European car makers need to be nimble and responsive to these changes. They need to foster a culture of innovation and agility. They need to be willing to embrace new ideas and experiment with new business models. The road ahead is challenging, but with the right strategies, European automakers can not only survive, but thrive in this new era.